Hello. So in this video, we're going to be having a go at drawing a full face portrait. So you're going to need 2 copies of your own full face portrait photo. Your photo should have been taken at eye level, so the camera was lined up with your eyes about 1 meter away. If it's any closer, there's some distortion which changes the proportions of the features of your face. And hopefully you were facing a window. Okay, so you're going to need a rubber, you're going to need a 2B pencil, you're going to need your sketchbook paper, a sharpener, in case you need to sharpen your pencil, of course. This is called a putty eraser. It's a type of rubber. It's a bit like Blu Tack, and in fact, you can use Blu Tack. Blu Tack will work just as well. This is just a rubber. If you want to create tiny little highlights, you can make it into a point basically and rub out smaller areas. Obviously, a bigger rubber, that will rub out larger areas and is a bit more difficult to control. So yeah, a bit of Blu Tack that you kind of work into a point like that might be helpful. Okay, so there's different ways of doing it. Hopefully you've already looked at the other videos, which look like this, where we had to go at an eye, a nose and lips. And now you're onto the full face, but hopefully you won't be doing this face, of course, it'll be your own face this time. So the first way of doing it, and the way we're going to do it in this video, is as we've done with the nose and the lips, we're going to trace it through. So that means shading on the back of this and tracing it through. The next step on from that would be using a template like this. This is one that I've made. There's plenty of these online, but there aren't many that show you the proportions, the correct proportions of a child's face. Most of them are for adult faces, really. The proportions of a child's face is slightly different, even at this age, and this child is 8 years old here. So, yeah, with that, again, you could shade in the back and trace that through and use that as your starting point, but then you'd have to be careful to try and change the features to match your features. So for example, the eyes might be slightly wider or slightly narrower. The nostrils might be wider slightly, or the nose might be a bit thinner. Same for the lips. The lips come in all different shapes, sizes, and so do ears. Generally, the shape of the top of the head would be fine, but then the jawline might be different. It might be a bit more square. It might come in a bit more and less round like this one is. So those are the things you'd have to pay attention to. The next step on from that, next level up, would be just dots to show you the edges, the corners of the eyes there, just a straight line to show you where to place the mouth, just 2 dots to show you where the nostrils are, and then you'd be doing the other bits yourself. You've still got the outline of the face and the outline of the ears and a little line to show you where the hairline is. A lot of children sometimes make the mistake of putting the hair right on top of the head, but of course your hairline starts where your forehead ends, which is about here. Okay, and then the next level after that, of course, would be to just kind of do it freehand, where you don't have any guidelines like this at all. Okay, but as I said, we're concentrating on this one. So first job is to shade in the back of it. Put the pencil on the side like this. I'm going to go diagonally in one direction. I don't need to go all the way to the edges. I can kind of see through the photo a little bit, so I can see a bit of rubber there. I can see the main features, so I'm making sure I'm going over those. I'm not so bothered about the neck down here or the clothes. I'm more bothered about the face. Okay, so I've gone over it once with the pencil on the side like that. And I'm going to turn the paper and do it again. This is called crosshatch shading. Okay, I'm going to try that. That should be enough. So I'm going to place it in the middle of my page. I'm going to hold it down. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to hold it down with my left hand, and it can't move. I don't want it to move. If you're worried that you won't be able to keep it still, you could just ask your teacher for some paper clips and paper clip it to the top of your page. That would work too. But I'm just going to hold mine down. I'm making sure it's not wonky. There we go. And I'm just going to trace over the main features. So I'm going to start the outside. Now, I've made a silly mistake. I have cut off the top of the head there. So I need to, that'll end up being like that. Okay, so I'm just drawing a line there for where the parting is in the hair. I'm going to start where the hair is here. I'm pressing quite hard so it'll go through. I'm just going to keep it in the where it is. I'm just going to lift it up and check that it's going through. It is. It's very faint, but it's enough. See, I'm still doing lots of lines here, pressing quite hard, but I'm just making sure I'm following the features, following the lines that are on the photo. Making sure my paper doesn't move. And if you're unsure, oh, here's another good tip. Before you started, what you should have done, is draw around the corners. And then if your paper does move, you can just match it up with the corners. There you go. I drew a little corner there, one there, one there, and one there. Okay. So I don't need to do every single line. I'm just going to try and get the main details in. I'm not drawing all these hairs here, no point. That bit I can do freehand. I'm just need to show where the hair is. So I've gone all the way around the face there. I've got a check that's come in. You might not be able to see it, but I'll show you in a moment. So I know I've gone all the way around the face. I know I've done the hair. So now I can start on the features of the face. Taking me time, trying my best to trace the lines that are there. I'm not going to do any shading in, no colouring on here. So I'm not going to shade these dark bits in at all. I'm just drawing lines. When we're tracing, we just trace lines. Now I've made the eyebrows on here darker than what they are, but it doesn't matter because I'm just tracing them through. They'll be nice and light when we have a look in a minute. Remember, don't do the sides of the nose. That's just a change in tone. We're only tracing the lines that we can see, which is nostrils, the sides of the nostrils, the eyes, eyebrows, already done the ears, and the lips. I'm trying to follow the lines that I can see. Without moving it, wiggling around, I'm going to peel it up and check that I've got all the features of the face there. And I think I have. This one then, I'm done with this one now because it's got lines drawn all over it now. So these lines are completely the wrong tone. So that's why you've got your second one now. So let me just check. Yeah, you can see, you can faintly see the outline there, can't you, of the features. So it's enough for me to make a start, I think. Right, so first of all, I'm going to go over, just gently go over the hair. So I'm starting from the top, working my way down. I'm working from the outside towards the middle. And the ears, I'm just going over the lines that I've already drawn. The outline of the face. So I can go quite quickly because I've done this many times, but this is your first time. You should take your time over this bit. Okay, so if you look at what I've done, I haven't pressed hard anywhere at all. I've just pressed lightly. I've gone over the features of the face very lightly. And the reason for that is I now want to put a mid-tone over all of it. So this is what we did when we did the eye and the nose and the lips. So I'm going to just put the pencil on its side again. I'm going diagonally here, and I'm covering everything, and I'm not even worried about going over the edges. So I went over everything because once you put this mid-tone on, we wouldn't have seen the lines that got traced through because they were too faint. So this mid-tone means that we don't have to think about which bits are light and which bits are dark just yet. If you don't have the mid-tone, everything's light, and it can be a bit confusing. If you start from mid-tone, it's easier to make the dark bits dark, and then we use a rubber to make the light bits light. Okay, so once I've done that, I'll smudge it a bit. I'll try not to smudge too much over the lines that I've drawn, so the lips, the nose and the eyes, otherwise it might disappear, but I'll smudge it a bit. Now, no matter what your skin tone is, you should just put a mid-tone on. You can always make it darker as you go along. So once we got to this stage, next stage is, as we've done in the other videos, you just basically look at the darkest bits. I'm going to leave the hair for now. Obviously the hair is really dark on this picture, but I'm just going to concentrate on the face first. So when we did the eye, we knew that the pupils, because they're just holes basically, were really dark, so I press hard for those. We also found that the eyelashes there were really dark. And also that line where the eyelid is was also dark. And then the edge of the iris was dark at the top and got a bit lighter. So I know we've practiced before doing a dark line that fades to a light line. Would be like this, wouldn't it? Press dark, go lighter and lighter. And we've practiced with graded tone as well, starting off dark, going lighter and lighter until it disappears. Okay, so these are the skills that we'll be using in this. Okay, so then I'll do, I could go on and do the same thing on the other eye, but I think I prefer to do one eye at a time. So I can see in the eye then, that in the iris, it's dark, but not quite as dark as the bit that I've just done. So these are going to be the darkest bits on the face, aren't they? These bits of the eyes, and then the nostrils, and then the line in the middle of the lips. So I'm just going to get one of them done. I'm not going to bother with any highlights just yet either. It's a bit darker at the top, and that's because your eyelashes create a shadow. There we go. It's darker in the corner of your eye there, and where the tears come out. Hopefully tears of joy after you've done this. And yeah, and it fades, gets a little bit lighter. The white bit in your eye isn't white, and that's why we've used that mid-tone there. So the white bit of our eyes is actually not quite white. Okay. Okay, and onto the nose, nostrils. That line there first is dark. And it's a little bit dark underneath, isn't it? Don't be tempted to just draw two big circles here. That's not what I can see. So I'm not going to draw two big circles. I can see just a curved line there. I'm going to turn my page now, because it'll help me get this bit. See all this tone around the eyes? It's always a bit darker around the eyes. Always, 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 because the eye sockets, they sit back in your skull. I'm about to lose that eyebrow, so I need to kind of put it back in Make sure it doesn't get lost. I can see it is quite dark around the eyes. There's some tone here. This line here. Be careful about making it really dark under the eyes. It makes you look very tired, or sometimes a bit ill, or perhaps old. So, yeah, never put too much darkness around the eyes. So, just as we did in the other lessons, once you've got your eyes done, then concentrate on the nose, shadow on the nose, shadow underneath the nose. At the side of the nose there. Remember, it's a change in tone, it's not drawing a line. Please don't draw lines down here because they're not on your face. No matter what shape your nose is, it's just a change in tone. A bit darker there. Okay, a little bit darker there, isn't it? See how I keep readjusting, keep changing little bits here and there. Once you see that actually that bit should be darker or that bit should be lighter. And that's what good observational drawing is all about, really. You're constantly looking, and if something needs changing, you change it. You don't just do it and think, oh, well, that's wrong, I'll start all over again. You can just keep changing them. So whenever I'm drawing or painting a portrait, it doesn't look like the person that I'm drawing or painting for quite a long time. I'm just constantly making little changes here and there, keep looking, and slowly, 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 it begins to look like them. But for you, especially if it's your first time, or even your second or third or fourth time, the aim is not to make it look just like you. Obviously, tracing your features helps it to look like you, but the aim is to just use line and tone and get the dark bits dark and the light bits light. That's it. Which is what I'm doing now, as you can see in the lips. It's all about practicing looking, but also with the pressure on the pencil when you're shading. See, I've already done this bit, but I'm going over it again because I can see actually it's not dark enough. So I'm getting that bit a bit darker. Okay, so the main features of the face are in, and then all I need to do now is look around the rest of the face, just look at the skin basically, which bits are lighter and which bits are darker. And if you have a darker skin tone, you could feel free to make those bits darker. But no matter what your skin tone is, there'll be nowhere on your face that will be as dark as the pupils in the eyes and the top of the eyes and the eyelids, the nostrils and the line there where your lips come together. For photos, by the way, it's best if you have a photo where you are kind of straight-faced. A smiling face is very, very challenging to draw, especially the teeth. Never mind. Okay, so there's lots of light on this side, and it's a bit darker on this side, and that's okay. You don't have to try and match up both sides. It's fine that it's lighter on this side and darker on this side. So I've got to do the chin now, underneath here. It's always darker, or nearly always darker, right underneath your bottom lip, because your lips stick out a bit, so it creates a shadow. Okay, so at this point, I can already see that there are bits that need to be darker, bits that need to be lighter. But what I want to do now is get the hair and the ears in, because that'll help me work out which bits need to be darker and lighter, because obviously we've got a lot of darkness here with the hair. So I'll start off by just getting, and some dark areas in the ears actually. So this bit in the ear there. So I'll put that hair in now. So I'm pressing harder. I'm not too worried about making it look like hair. I'm not going to draw every hair like this. I'm just going to shade it in. Where it's parted is around there. It's dark there, isn't it? I haven't got it dark enough yet, but that's fine. It's lighter here, so I'm going to kind of leave a bit. And here I will draw a few lines, just because you can see them. Okay, so it's lighter there. Right, at this point I want to turn the book so I can, easier for me to shade. Right, so I haven't got the hair dark enough yet, but rather than pressing really hard and doing lots of lines, that'll take ages, I keep my pencil on its side and just build it up in layers. Just do the same thing again. You can't get it dark enough just by pressing hard once. That's not going to work, and that'll take forever. What you need to do is have your pencil on its side and build it up in layers. So I'm going to redraw that little line there for the chin. And then make it darker underneath. Okay, and there's a line there, wasn't there? This line here. Okay, I'd suggest not spending long on the neck, to be honest. As long as it's darker under the chin, it'll look fine. Okay, so then at this point, I start comparing the tone that I've got here to the tone that I can see there. So first of all, I'm going to start with the eyes. I can see around here, this tone around this eye needs to be darker than around that eye. So I'll put my pencil on the side and I'll gently go over that bit again. Can be hard to press lightly. It's a bit of a skill, being able to shade in lightly. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave it there for the shading, and then what I'm gonna do is add some highlights now. So first of all, if you've got highlights right in the pupil, you'll never be able to remove the really dark stuff. So I would change the highlight so it's on the iris. So I'm going to just remove a little bit. Remember, you could use a little bit of blue tack. It'll do the same job as this. You just make a point from it. Sometimes you can just dab it on like that and it will lift. It will just lift the graphite off. Okay, and then in the middle of the nose here. There you go, highlight on the nose, it's made the nose come forward. I'd say the forehead is quite light as well, particularly above, there's a ridge just above your eyebrows there. Put that in as a highlight. And then rub out some of that pencil on the forehead, like that. I'm going to smudge the shading that I have got already as well, a little bit. Okay, quite happy with that. I need to remove some of this here on the cheek bone there. Your cheekbones often come forward a bit. There we go. And I just smudge the edges to blend it in a bit. And maybe just remove a bit on this side as well. Top of the lip there. And there's a highlight there, isn't there? I need to do a little bit more shading now here, I think. See, it's not the case where now I'm just doing the highlights and then I'm done. Once you've done the highlights, you might find that there's something else that needs to change. So we just constantly keep changing little bits here and there. And that's it. Okay, I'll do that little highlight there. And I think, yeah, I'll probably just leave it there for now. So all I've done is follow the same process that we did with the other features of the face, especially when we did the lips and nose. We just shaded in the back one of these, traced it through, and then I concentrated just on the where are the dark bits first. So the dark bits on the eyes, the dark bits on the nostrils, the dark bits on the lips, and then we did our mid-tone, didn't we, as well? And then I started doing some shading around the eyes and around the nose, around the lips, and then looked at where to change the tone on the face. So it was darker around here, wasn't it? Lighter on this side, and we put the dark hair in. Remember, build it up in layers. Don't try and really press really hard. Have it on the side and press hard that way and build it up in layers. So that's how we tried to build up the tone there, the dark tone. Okay, last thing that I wanted to do actually was just a little highlight. Rub away bits of there. There you go. And that will do. So good luck with yours. Look forward to seeing what you can do.